Hello, good evening, and welcome to JoyNews Prime. We are coming to you live from our studios here at Koko Mleme, Accra. We're also live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV 125, and around the world on myjoyonline.com. I am Carlos Kaloni. Coming up this evening, the Education Minister wades into social media debate on whether keeping short hair for SHS students is the way to go in instilling discipline among students.
There's an ongoing debate about haircuts and size and length of hair. We will not tolerate it today. We will not tolerate it tomorrow.
And does that verdict bring finality to the latest debate first sparked by Tyrone Magai, a former student of Achimota School? We have details for you on that. And also, we'll bring you details from this year's EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair as it enters Day 3 exhibition at the Accra International Conference Center. And also, NSMQ is on. The contest is on in Cape Coast. We'll bring you the very latest on the happenings with regards to the schools, those losing and those winning. We have details and more in this half-hour bulletin. Stay with us. Thank you so much for staying with us here on JoyNews Prime. Now, Education Minister Haruna Iddrisu has waded into social media controversy on whether keeping short hair for SHS students is the way to go in instilling discipline among students. It follows a viral video of a first-year student of Yea Asantewaa Girls SHS who appeared visibly traumatized after school authorities allegedly compelled her to cut her long hair before completing her enrollment. The video has since attracted public outrage, with many calling for a review of the GS Code of Conduct, barring students from keeping long hair. We'll be hearing from the minister shortly. But first, take a listen to extract of the social media reactions on the incident.
Benu writes on Facebook, what does cutting or growing hair got to do with character modeling? I'm curious, someone should explain this to me. Africa.echo also writes, she held her hair in her hands, tears rolling down her face. That hair wasn't just beauty, it was pride, identity, and culture. Bongo Ideas also exclaims on Facebook, foreigners are allowed to keep their hairs as part of their identity, but for black students, it's not. In 2025, what harm does hair cause? Ghanaian schools must abandon this outdated mentality. This must stop now. Ghanaian musician Adoma on X tweets, I still don't understand this. Had extremely long hair in boarding school in Nigeria JHS, and every other Saturday, braiders would come to braid in a style the school had given. Imagine my shock coming to boarding school in Ghana SHS, and I was told to cut it all off.
Well, the minister seems to have issued a verdict on the matter. Speaking at the 75th anniversary of Mauli School in Ho, Education Minister Haruna Iddrisu was firm in his directive to GS. He empowered them to take full control of how students behave on campus, insisting the school system is molding a character.
There is an ongoing debate in social media about haircuts and size and length of hair in secondary schools. We will not tolerate it today. We will not tolerate it tomorrow. And so long as we are molding character, if we give in to hair today, tomorrow it will be shoes. And the next day it will be the way they dress. Therefore, as part of our disciplinary measures, headmasters and GS, you are accordingly empowered to take full control of how students behave on your campuses. So anybody who thinks that your child will walk into any institution of learning as if that child forgive my words, was to attend a beauty contest. The school environment is not for that purpose and not cut for that purpose, and would not tolerate that as an institution.
Well, let's bring in the Executive Director of Africa Education Watch into this conversation, Kofi Asare. Grateful for your time. You agree with the minister, or you are on the side of those who say this GS code of conduct should be taken a second look at?
Well, good evening and evening to your cherished audience. I am on the side of the law. A similar issue went to court years ago, and the courts pronounced that schools may have their rules for dressing and hair, etc., to the extent that it is necessary for the regulation of conduct and discipline in schools. However, such rules must be consistent with the constitutional rights of students or learners, and that it shouldn't impinge on their right to religion, the right to education, etc. And so, to the extent that trimming one's hair, which is not a manifestation of one's religion, takes place in our senior high schools, I don't see it contradicting the pronouncement of the High Court in the Rastafarian versus Achimota school case. And that is why I have no objection to the rule in question.
But what do you say to those who believe that this actually affects the individual, like we saw in that video, for instance?
Yeah, so I also agree that psychologically it will affect the individual because the individual perhaps was not aware of the existence of such rules that more or less hair admission was predicated on. And so her having to go through that particular process, unfortunate process, obviously will have a negative impact on her psyche. Reason why our schools must have the necessary psychosocial support for such students. But the essence of such rules, I must admit, is not to indignify or subject any student to an act of indignity. The essence is that across Africa, especially in countries where boarding schooling is the norm, like Ghana, where the average student is a residential student, school authorities have continued to make the point, and I side with them, that as part of their management of students, it's not just about character, As part of their management of students, there is a need for neutrality, there is a need for hygiene and uniformity. And these three things, among others, necessitates students should have their haircuts in line with the school's regulations.
But do you believe we actually having that uniformity? Because some still argue that foreign students in our public schools are allowed to keep their long hair.
I'm not aware of that. I'm only speaking to what I'm aware of and the law. I'm also aware that some people are keeping their hair because the hair style is connected to their belief, which leads in manifesting their religion, which is supported by law. I'm not aware of foreigners in school keeping their long hair. I'm not aware. But what I will say is that if there is evidence that someone is breaching the rule, that shouldn't be the motivation for another to breach it. That's what I will say, even though I'm not aware.
So the enforcement should take into cognizance whether you're a Ghanaian or foreign student, you have to cut your hair. That's the position, right?
Yeah, because the court was clear that schools may have their rules that regulate hairstyles, dressing codes, etc. But in enforcing such rules, they must be consistent with the enjoyance of their right to religion and culture and human dignity. And so the question we ask ourselves is that, to what extent does maintaining this hair manifest the enjoyance of my culture or my religion? That's why I'm saying that I'm not aware of any student who is keeping a hairstyle which is not based on their culture or religion, as pronounced in the Chimota case. If there is, that shouldn't be a recipe for others to continue to breach the rules and regulations. I dare say that parents will be the first to come at the ministry and the genius and our schools if they find that students are wearing haircuts that they wouldn't have wore at home, simply because they were in their custody in boarding schools. And so I think that in all, let's balance the equation. And as much as possible, support our schools to manage our students the way we want them to manage.
Thank you so much for your point. Well, moving on, the grand finale of the EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair 2025 brought together unbeatable housing deals, expert insight, and innovative home solutions, all under one roof at the Accra International Conference Center. For the hundreds of patrons who thronged the venue, it was a truly fulfilling experience, one they will have regretted missing. Let's bring you some excited patrons from the ground.
Okay, thank you. So we've been here for 4 days. Today is the last day, and we've had patrons coming through our booth. As you can see, we have display here. We have launched a new product. That's our AI smart CCTV camera, and then our solar powered CCTV camera. We have body worn camera as well. So we have had people come through and we have displayed the items here. We've shown people how it's been used and the benefits of it. So far so good. We've had patrons coming through, and we are hoping to close more sales. With the attendance we have, we are hoping to close more sales after that fair.
So far so good. So was this what you were expecting when you guys came, when you guys decided to come for the Habitat Fair?
I would say yes, because we've had potential clients who are willing to, patronize our doors and even kitchens. Yes, so it meets our expectations.
It's been great. We've had troops of people coming in here. We've already started doing business, and so for the Habitat Fair has always been a good opportunity for us, and it's been great this year. So we're excited. We started on Thursday. Yes, Friday was okay. Yesterday and today has been something else. Yeah, so we are grateful.
Wonderful. So you had expectations before you came. Well, have those expectations been met?
Sure. Exhibitions are not for sales. They are for us to showcase and to tell the populace what we have. And for this one, we have done more than just exhibiting. We've been able to close some deals here and there, and so it's been exciting.
The response has been so far very incredible, and in fact the follow-ups and the number of attendees and the leads you are having have been very, very, very encouraging. In fact, we've also had concerns raised about potential customers, about the issues and challenges they are having in the market. So we are looking forward to resolving all those things to serve the customers with that. We are new market entrants, so I think we find it in a position and we find it's a great opportunity to sign up to this particular event.
Yeah, today is my first day. I heard today is the last day, so I decided to pass through. And I like what I'm seeing, the doors, the security systems, the cameras, CCTV cameras around. Yeah, it's been good. I've made certain choices. I've picked up contact numbers, and I'm hoping to get in touch with them.
Oh, I came to the Habitat Fair because of solar. That was my main aim, because I always hear the adverts on Joy FM, and even to the extent of if you want pre-financing, it can go even up to that level. So I came, I met, and I think I have had answers to my questions. Now I'm satisfied, so I'll know where to choose from.
Yeah, my expectations have been met. So it's good. It's good that we have such a things in Ghana. Sometimes some people doesn't travel to nowhere, and they have capacity and ability to buy some of the thing, but they don't know who will educate them and take them to this place. But as this thing is going on now, everybody will be educated, everybody will be directed to come around and get this kind of materials or these shows. When they come around, they will get what they want.
Well, you're still watching JoyNews Prime with me, Carlos Caloni. We'll take a short break. We'll return with more stories. Please stay. Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. Now to more story. Veterinary doctors have been charged to live up to their mandate and enhance surveillance to fight the transmission of animal-source diseases to humans. This follows the worrying trend of zoonotic diseases rapidly spreading to humans, including rabies, COVID, and the recent rising cases of mpox. Another One Health policy, health workers are collaborating to safeguard human, animal, and environmental health against the spread of zoonotic diseases. There's more in the following report.
The human population continues to battle a number of zoonotic diseases such as rabies and the recent surge of the mpox disease. Over 730 cases of mpox have been confirmed in Ghana, with 3 related deaths. The causative organism is believed to originate from animals, including rodents. At the 2025 induction ceremony of newly qualified veterinary surgeons, the doctors were tasked to prioritize the protection of public health. Professor Raphael Foliche is the pioneer dean for the School of Veterinary Medicine at the KNUST.
And there is a group of diseases we call zoonotic diseases, which means that this class of diseases are transmitted from animal population to humans. And so when I say veterinary doctors should be gatekeepers, I'm referring to the fact that they should perform their duty such a way that these zoonotic diseases do not move from the animal population into the human population. So in other words, the veterinary doctors should perform their functions to protect public health. So if they are able to detect these diseases early enough in the animal population, it will not spill over to human population.
Amidst the growing trend of zoonotic diseases is the influx of quack veterinarians who invariably contribute to the spread of diseases due to their liabilities in treating animals with severe diseases. The Veterinary Council of Ghana has disclosed that it is working to deploy a regional task force to clamp down on quacks posing as veterinary surgeons. Dr. Sherry Johnson is a chairperson of the Veterinary Council of Ghana.
We are developing some standards and also forming task force in the region so that they can go around to crack down on these quacks. You know, anybody can pose as a doctor, a veterinary doctor, and so they offer them, they allow them access to their animals. But when we educate and show that these are the true doctors, they are more likely to question them. There are things to look out for. First of all, their ID. People are now faking IDs, but the certificate is difficult to fake. And then we are just launching our website where it will be easy for people to verify. But just by entering a name, you can verify whether this person is registered with the council or not.
The ceremony saw 38 newly qualified veterinary surgeons from the Schools of Veterinary Medicine of the University of Ghana and the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology being inducted into office. Senior veterinary surgeon Dr. Albert Kwanzaa Filson admonished the inductees to uphold the ethics of the profession.
The young ones coming now, we expect them to, to follow the ethics of the profession. We have elaborated them very nicely that they should be always, the client that brings the animal, they should be able to be very transparent with those, with the client, and then make sure that the necessary procedures that need to be done for the animals in the course of their treatment, they follow.
For JoyNews, my name is Emmanuel Bright Kweku.
Well, in a spectacular show of class, this other college has reclaimed its lost seed status after 2 consecutive years. The Zebra Boys remains nowhere, making a grand entry into the quarterfinal stage after securing a whopping 82 points, highest so far in the ongoing competition. The boys will clash in what is expected to be a final before final clash against defending champions Infante Pim School and 5-time champions Prempeh College in their next challenge. My colleague Collins Frimpong has more from Cape Coast.
I don't know, 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 Chris, I don't know, Chris, I don't know, OJ, I don't know, OJ, I don't know, Pepe, I don't know, Pepe, I don't know, I don't know. Right, so that's Adisado College who have secured a place in the quarterfinals. This is their first time after 2 years. You know, they lost their seeded status, and this time around they have reclaimed it, and they did so with a wonderful performance when they secured 82 points against the Ashanti Region Schools, St. Hubert, and also Sewa Nyaku, who all had 24 points each in their contest. This is quite marvelous from them because they also had a higher score, which came with 2,000 Ghana cedis. And we have the students here that we will be engaging. But let me hear from you. Was the contest easy?
On Thursday, we said over here that these are just stepping stones. We told you earlier on that we had already watched this contest at school. We are just here to make noise for JoyNews. 2 of us. Now this, I said, is a stepping stone. Interview us again during the finals.
Looking at how the draw is going to look like, it looks like you'll be coming up against Prempeh and Infante Pim. Is that not too difficult?
Now it's simple. It's simple. The highest scorer for today was Adisado College. Yes. Infante Pim also contested today. Yes. How many did they earn? Presec also contested today. How many points did they earn? Like I said, interview us again during the final.
Let me get your thoughts on it. How was the contest for you?
Was
it easy?
Good. No. It wasn't easy, but we are expecting more from our boys, and they deliver very, very well. So we are so excited. So that's what my brother said earlier. Interview us again during the final.
Right, so that is Adisado College. They have secured a place to in the quarterfinals, yes. And yes, they have done it after missing out in 2 years. And this time around, you'll be seeing them also in the quarterfinal. And next year, they will not be competing in the prelims. This is quite a historic thing that they wanted to achieve, and they have done it. I feel all right now.
Well, interesting scenes from Cape Coast. They will still keep you posted on the performance of other schools. And that's how we wrap up JoyNews Prime this evening here on the Joy News channel. You can log on to myjoyonline.com for more stories. My name is Carlos Caloni. The probe is up next.